Thursday morning in Lagos. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the program. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Earlier this year, the President Tinubu Media Center outlined the top 10 policies to watch out for in 2025. They say these policies will shape the new year, just as the presidency continues to promise an exciting 2025 with several initiatives aimed at driving economic growth, improving governance, and enhancing the overall quality of life for Nigerians. So according to this policy outlook, the policies to watch out for include what they call the National Youth Confab, expected to come up in the first quarter of this year. It's a conference aimed at strengthening synergy between the youth and leadership. And it's quite a number of people are talking about it. There are for and against, some saying, we remember 2014 National Confab. Not much came out of that. There's also the National Credit Guarantee Company. It's a new company to increase access to credit for individuals and critical sectors, and that is expected to launch before the end of second quarter, and the aim is to boost national economic output. The big elephant here is the tax reform bill's implementation. We came out of 2024 witnessing what appears a very, very critical response to that bill on the floor of the National Assembly. We're going to see how that plays out. But the presidency expected that this will be passed and implemented soon in 2025. There's Consumer Credit Phase 2, an extension of the Consumer Credit Scheme to the general public, increasing access to consumable goods and what have you. And then there's also a long list of infrastructural projects, including highways, bus terminals, power projects. We're expecting to see the commissioning of some of these this year. There are conversations around the potential that these infrastructural projects have to transform various sectors, as well as improving the lives of Nigeria. We'll be talking about some of these initiatives in some more details as we explore what they mean for the country's future. I'm joined by APC chieftain and policy analyst Joe Igbokwe. Engineer, good morning and thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Happy New Year to you.
I wish you the same.
It's your first time here, right?
Yes, I'm overwhelmed.
And it looks good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's about 19 months into this administration. You supported the Tinubu presidency. Looking back, are you confident? I mean, are you excited about what has happened thus far, or are you disappointed?
I cannot be disappointed. I can never be disappointed on my
Of course, I remember the
principal. You know, I work with him. I work with Fashola. I work with somebody. I serve Somolu too. So I've seen it all. So all these things you see today is the things he put in place when he was governor. There was a roadmap, and every incoming governor is keeping to that roadmap till date. Look at the Atlantic City. He's a spring child. I'm coming here for the first time today, so I'm not surprised from what I'm seeing today. And I can never regret supporting him because I know what he's capable of doing. He's a genius.
What do you say concerning, concerns about some of the policies of this government and how it's impacted on quality of life, the cost of living, for instance, inflation and what have you? That's usually what we hear out there.
Yeah, he came in 2023, but a lot of, Nigeria needs to be refixed, We need to change certain ways we do things. We need to bring new dynamics into the system, new traction into the system. So, and you need to take hard decisions to be able to get out. So we saw 2024 pose too much challenges, too much. And people say, guys, is this what we are expecting? Is it what we are going to see? It's all about plan. I'm sure he had what he wants to do about Nigeria right from day one. And his journey to the presidency did not start. It's been a long dream.
And he said he doesn't regret making those decisions. Are you expecting that Nigerians will begin to see the positive impacts in the new year?
He would never fail. He's my principal. he has what it takes to do the job. I mean, and then there are resources to do the job. You know, over the years, we don't want to talk about it. We have budgets every year. We can't see anything. There are so many things that we know that I cannot say here. People steal our budgets. People don't build. Commissioners, ministers. People, now we're talking about the federal level. Let me shock you with one story. I was in Abuja, do you know Basenjo Serra? And I went to see a friend of mine who was in that cabinet. And we were just discussing the federal secretary. A lady was passing. A lady was in one ministry. I won't call his name. Okay, Ministry of I won't call her name. Her name. It's a lady. Minister of External Affairs. He presented a budget. I just gave the number. I'm going to do this. One sentence. Money. One sentence. I can't, you know, just like that. He brought it. And he said, Madam, you put your budget. You didn't, there's no plan, no nothing. You didn't write anything. You're just writing figures. If you say you want to build something, where is the bill of quantity? Where is your plan? How do you want to do that? She didn't answer them. She just went about telling everybody, hey, go and tell this man to release my fund, so my money for what I want to do. This. She was going around people to defend what you put in paper. Didn't show anything, no modicum of anything you put in place that you want to do. It has been like that for years.
You think that is changing now? Because of the
when a guru
yes.
is in the system, you can't shit him.
Because there are conversations about the number of computers we're seeing in this new budget, how they have increased from across the ministry department and agencies of government. Because some people will wonder that why are you buying computers every year? And perhaps we'll see the 10th Assembly also put some touchlight on that and better scrutinize it.
You see, let me not just create a bogus situation, but I tell you, we lose up to 60 to 70% of our budgets every year. And this thing has been happening for years. Just individuals, Nigerians, For the first time in the history of Nigeria, you have to give an account of what you are giving. Go to Abuja today. We see men in Babariga, suits, even the best hotels in Abuja. You don't know what they are doing for a living. They are facilitators. Once you become a federal minister, or maybe you are running an agency, they will come to you. Oh, guy, you are not going to be here for donkey years. This is just 4 years. Help yourself. We will tell you what to do. These people ride on the best cars in town, in Abuja. They wear the best apparels. You will see them, you see that money is written all over them. What they do is just to facilitate. They think they go to confuse the incoming minister, anybody, and they will end up not doing the job.
Is it clear?
Yes, we know.
Yes, but is it clear if we understand the body language of this administration as regards fighting corruption? Because sometime last year, during his media chat, President Tinubu was directly asked that question. And, his idea of fighting corruption is empowering people. He talked about Nel Fund, how he's raised the minimum wage. And he's saying perhaps if people can earn more, it can deter them from corrupt practices. Do you think we see an unusual stance under this administration against that corrupt system that you're talking about?
Of course. When a certain person that you know very well is in the seat of power, you have to be very careful. Especially somebody who understands, the way things move. Money. Nobody understands money. It's not somebody you can just... After ruling Lagos, it's not somebody you can play with. So everybody will need to adjust. It's not that they will not do anything, but it would have been reduced to, if it used to be 60%, it can be now 20% or 25%, because people must do something. But I can tell you, with this man, at least we'll get 65–70% of what we want to achieve with our budget.
We'll talk about these policies to look out for in the new year shortly. But since you are here, I was thinking we could quickly talk about the Lagos politics. The speaker was just recently impeached. It's the second time it's happening since 1999. And for a man who has spent over perhaps 20 years in the House and who probably was even ranked as some of those who will, succeed someone who as governor. What does this mean for the APC politics in Lagos? Because I understand that there are different groups, one of which the former speaker leads.
You have what do we call it? There are two groups in Lagos. But I try to ban the two groups. The bandits and one other one. And the bandit, because it's causing a lot of problems. Well, a few years back. So some people went to bring it back. So I understand Lagos politics very well, and I know everybody. But there are certain things I will not say here. But, it didn't start today. I've seen GSC meetings, seen them at meetings in Governor's house on a few occasions, on this matter, on this Obasa matter. So it was not easy for the governor. It was not easy for the governor. But I won't say what I know.
But
let me call it classified.
You are not even saying anything, but I want you to say at least two, maybe one out of 10. I'm just wondering if his impeachment resolves that internal party crisis, because if he leads a group, what happens to that group moving forward? Some of them were arrested at the State Assembly complex, singing the mandate song in the support.
The supporters will make some noise, but the deed had been accomplished. It lasted a long time. There was endurance, acceptance. Let it be because of the system. I can't tell you what I know. I can't tell you what I know. Because I was the image maker of our party for years, almost 14 years. So I know a lot about Lagos politics. There are certain things I will not discuss about. It's long overdue.
It is.
So let's just leave it that way.
Let us look at this.
The system moves on.
Absolutely, it does. And then we are also counting on what happens afterwards. There's the issue of the National Youth Confab that is expected to, come to fruition in the first quarter of this year. What do you expect from this? Because a lot of attention is now drawn to the national confab we had some 10 years ago. How a lot of resources, were spent. And the draft did not see the light of the day because, power changed hands and what have you. How optimistic are you about this one?
Not with Achuwaju. Not with P-Bats. You understand his leadership. It's not going to be a jamboree. It's not going to be what we have seen in the past. For him, 2 + 2 is 4. So there's nothing wrong in talking. Let's bring them. One thing you want to achieve is to give them a sense of belonging, that they are part of the system. Let them come up with something that will help this nation to grow.
And you think government is committed to implement what the young wants to be done?
No. The young will not tell us to kill ourselves for them, and we'll just sign it.
Because that's the thing, you wonder
the young cannot teach the old tradition.
You wonder whether there is a point where your generation and my mates, when it comes to governance, we've seen a couple of protests in the past, even last year, young people, there was the NSAS protest and what have you. It appears that we have a remarkably different idea of how governance should be. So I'm wondering, when you ask young people to come before the table and talk, it's not just about talking. Do you see that body language, that political will, that you have intention to implement what they want done?
Well, babies will always think like babies, and adults will always think like adults. You need to find a way. We don't have to go and kill people. They may tell you, if somebody steals money, go and kill the person. We don't have to go and kill people to satisfy them. We will tell them the way the systems are, the way you run the system. And then they cannot offer advice. You see, young people know too much now. They know. Some of them traveled. Some of them well-read. But not all of them will have Genzio. I don't know what we're talking about. So I just believe that we'll get sensible people, sensible young people who understand what is going on. To sit. It's giving them a sense of belonging, to be part of governance, to bring their own idea. They won't tell us to go to or to change this system entirely. We can't change from democracy and go back to dictatorship. We can't do that. So, you know, everybody has something to bring to the table. I used to have meetings with my kids, and they put their own thinking on the table. Use it. One thing is to give them a sense of belonging, to tell them that they are part of the process, and groom them for tomorrow. You know, you have to wait for your turn.
But that's the thing, you know.
You have to wait for your turn.
Yeah, but that has also been an issue, because they keep telling us that we are the leaders of tomorrow. Until I woke up one day and I started seeing white beards in my hair. And then I'm wondering, when is actually going to be my time?
We are watching you.
If you are still sitting on the throne.
No, I won't be there forever. I will not be there forever. I've told you that I've served so many agencies in Lagos. You know, publicity secretary for almost 14 years. First chairman of LASIMRA, Lagos State Infrastructure Maintenance and Regulatory Agency. From there, I moved to Wharf Landing in Apapa. From Wharf Landing, I became a member of a school, SA Drainage. So you have to pay your dues. You have to mark the time.
So the Minister of Youth is expected to come up with modalities on who represents the young people. What's your idea? How do you think we can even get the representation right? So it doesn't look like it is an APC, it is a meeting of APC members who are just going to dance to the tune of this administration and be a rubber stamp.
You know, we watch the public space. We know sensible people. You have good people everywhere. We have young people who are doing wonderful things in this country. Young people. We know them. Bring those people in. Size is no guarantee to strength. If leadership is measured by might, giants would have been ruling the world. Bring them. Young people do so many things. So, in the process of doing this thing, you identify clever people. And you put them in, catch them young. So it's not going to be a government of 60, 70, 80. No. If you are good, you come into the system.
Let's look at the National Credit Guarantee Company. It's expected to be launched before the end of the second quarter of this year. The idea is to assist, consolidate on the administration's effort to get people to access credit, individuals and critical sectors of the economy, to boost national economic output. So Mr. President, even before he was elected, has talked about the credit system as it works outside, where you can get mortgage, you know, get a house or a car and then pay back after a while. But the challenge has to do with our data system, in a situation whereby, do we even know who is who in this country? Do we have the robust system upon which this kind of strategy can work?
It worked for me. It worked before, during the time of IBB. I am a product, you know, of IBB loan system. Through National Directorate of Employment. I got a loan of 25,500.
What year was that?
That was in 1988. 1988, 3 years after my graduation. How did I just set it up? National Directorate of Employment. And put money in the banks. Selected banks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 banks. We were the pioneer that benefited from it.
Did you get to pay back?
Of course. I got 27,500. It was big money then. Because I'm a trained mechanical engineer, so I wanted to go into air conditioning and, you know, say, you just came out of school. A woman, this is IMB, International Merchant Bank here. A woman, is late now. He called me and said, Joe, I know you are a mechanical engineer, but you just came out of school, finished your youth service, then after you have spent 1 year. Find out what will you do, what will do that will give you quick money for you to even, you make money from it and you now go back to your profession. I said, suggest to me what I will do. He said, I will encourage you to go and set up a restaurant business. You will be getting money daily and you'll be feeding yourself. You will get money there and you go and go and set up other businesses. I listened to her. He gave me money. That money, they didn't give it to us. Just that money, 27,500. They gave me money to go and rent a place first. I rented a 3-bedroom apartment, 3,500. They were giving me money. I rented a place. They gave me money for furniture. They gave me money. The last one they gave me was a working capital. I made it. And I paid the money back. I don't think 5% of people that got that loan paid that money, but I paid my own. Today I'm standing.
And that's
the day I went to pay, I had been to calculate everything. I was not paying as planned. I calculated it was 1 million something. I paid the money. It worked in the 80s. And it's going to work.
But perhaps that's the challenge, because when you said that, perhaps 5%, you're not sure 5% of those people who got it.
I'm telling you, some people saw it as pocket money.
As grant.
They just went away. They never did. You know, we wrote projects. We wrote. I'm still beating my chest till date. I paid that money.
And complete. Yes. So that's the issue.
My story became a success story.
The sustainability part of it will require that those who get the loan pay back. Because if they don't pay back, we can do it once and then, just like the IBB,
let me shock you.
It won't happen again.
The people, the teacher to give us that money, told them that they're just dashing you this money.
Oh.
And they collected bribes from some of us.
Out of the money.
I'm telling you this. Yeah, this is government. The government just dash you, but you just take it. I paid back, and I'm still beating my chest today. I don't know whether 5 to 10% paid that money.
So how do you suggest? How do you suggest that this one is fine-tuned in such a way that will be different from?
If well managed, because then it's not now.
Absolutely.
Do due diligence. Take people that will do the job. It's not going to be 28,500. You'll be talking about millions now. That 28,500 then got me everything. And I had my working capital. By the time I knew it, I got NEPA training school. I was supplying them food. And I made money there. In less than 1 year, I bought a vehicle. The rest is now history. But I'm always proud of it. Some people will do the same if you establish them. We're in IT world, you know. Gen Z generation. Some of them are very good, very, you know. They can do things, unimaginable things. The world is evolving. There are developments everywhere. So we are not going to be looking at those who will fail. Let's look at those who will succeed. But not all of them will succeed. Some people will say it's government money, like some of us said, and they'll go and blow the money.
Let's take a short break. When we return, we'll continue to explore the top policies to look out for in 2025. We'll also open the phone lines and hear your thoughts on this conversation. Stay with us, everyone. Thanks for staying with us, everyone. The President Tinubu Media Center has ruled out the top 10 policies, government policy to look out for this new year. One of it is the full implementation of local government autonomy, direct allocations to local governments, and based on the landmark Supreme Court judgment we saw last year. We're also going to be looking at some other issues that have to do with the implementation of the tax reform bills some of the most controversial bills of 2024. Joe Igbokwe is right here with me in the studio, APC chieftain and policy analyst. Thank you so much for staying the course on the program. The phone lines are also open. We'd like to hear from you, your thoughts on some of these policies, what your expectations are as well. You can also tweet to us at TVC News On. Remember to use hashtag this morning and tag at Nifemi Oguntoye. I think you were talking about how you got a loan yourself, and during the break you were saying what the collateral was at that time.
Up to 5% too.
You were saying you used your NY certificate as
collateral, yes. Collateral, yes.
So that was all you needed to submit?
Yes. And then the fact is that you're a graduate. You have all the documents that show that you're a graduate. So now that was what happened. And they took it. They took it, and I knew I would need it one day. So I paid. It's not that I was interested in my person. I don't want to be part of this. They were telling me. Most of my colleagues were telling me, this money is Sarah, just take it. I said, no. They're having my certificate. They're having my NYC discharge certificate. If I go, how can I retrieve it? I'm not sure those people, or those, they can go and bribe those people and they will give them and they will go away. But I paid back. And today I beat my chest about it. It can work. It can work. People need to create jobs. That's what is happening in China. Everybody is doing something. We have to be creative.
So you obviously take it back
Nigerians are doing a lot of things, We have to be.
Let's talk about the autonomy for local government. We're not sure if they now get the funds directly, but this policy is optimistic that will happen this year. What are your expectations in that regard? Because everyone is crazy about it. Governors should hands off and let the local government chairman get their funds directly.
That is one of the best. It's just a master stroke. That's a kind of revolution in the system. Because most of the local governments, they don't see. Let me just say, they don't see half of the money. Just give them some money. They can generate money. That's why you see them going all over the place.
It doesn't look like all the governors are.
No.
In support
From Lagos, 90% of them will not support it.
We have even seen some laws from some states that require that they still remit a part of the fund to the state government.
That one, but they should be left alone. Go and generate money. The governors go and generate money. They can generate their own money.
But are we very sure that once local government chairmen get this money, it will mean development at the grassroots?
Let me tell you. Actions carry consequences. Set up a system, monitoring system. If I give you money, you have to give me an account of the money I gave you. You have to list it. But days of impunity should be put to, behind us. I saw that impunity a few years back. That's my story. If local governments were to use this money, Nigeria will be transformed. That's what we call monitoring and evaluation. If you give somebody a job, follow it up. Follow it up. Unleash people on them, people who will monitor them. Because some of these local governments, many of them, 90% of them, once they get this allocation, they'll go and buy houses. That's what we know. I've been in the system for too long, so I know them.
They use the money to buy houses for themselves.
Is it not every month? It's every month. The money comes. Now, if we have to give this money to local governments direct, we need to come with handcuff. Take this money. There's a handcuff here.
You steal the money, you go to jail.
You go to jail, and people must go to jail. Because they will not stop.
I'm just wondering.
The thing is in our system.
Yes.
To take and take. We will steal what we don't need.
Well, good thing is that unlike the governors, they don't have immunity, so you can take them to court, right? You're counting on that.
Yes. So many things will happen. Governors will not allow them. Governors will want to know what they are doing. And they need to be accountable. Announce to us the money that you're giving to them so that we know. And we'll be watching to see what you're going to do with the money. This is the plan. You know, some people are saying T-Pain. This is the plan.
All right. Hold that thought for a minute. Mr. George has called in from Ikeja. Good morning, Mr. George. How are you today?
Oh, I'm fine, Nifemi. Good morning, and happy New Year to Igbokwe. I am also in support of the reform policies of the president. Where I have a challenge is the implementation strategies. He is the president. He cannot do the implementation himself. He has to hire people that will do it for him. The way these people he has hired to do it for him is what varies from MDA to MDA, from minister to minister. That is where my own reservations come. And that is where the press and people like us who are political watchers need to help the president to succeed. Unfortunately, the press in Nigeria, 98% of them are just attacking the president. Their attack is not opposition. They don't scrutinize and make suggestions. You scrutinize a policy, prove to the listener that you have a better option or that can work better than what is being done. That is opposition. But just to be abusing is not opposition. I do not see the need for a new confab for youth. Why? The president, if you look at his programs, he has already encompassed the youth, everybody, into his programs. If you look at his cabinet, for example, about half of them are youth. And then look at performance index. Performance index has no regard for age bracket. If you give me 60 seconds, I'll just analyze it for you. For example, the ministers who are performing cuts across age brackets. The Minister of Works, for example, who is known to be a star performer, is about 60 in age. In terms of non-performance, you talk about corruption. No, those who are performing, there are also young ministers. For example, the Minister of Internal Affairs is 40. You can see the wonders he's performing in that ministry. Then talk about corruption. The corruption index we've made around the ministers and the appointees so far. The one that is youngest was the first to fall prey to corruption. The youngest minister was the first to fall prey to corruption. So that is to say, corruption does not have any regard for age bracket. So if you are gathering youth to say you want to discuss anything about youth, to me, it's neither here nor there. It's not called for. We wouldn't need to be wasting that money. There are also, you have youth employment.
I hear you clearly, Mr. George. I think that's your time. Do you agree with him?
I gave you an example of what, what transpired during our own time. It's likely to happen again if we don't carry the sledgehammer. They give you money, they follow you with a sledgehammer. This is not a Father Christmas thing.
But what's the role of the people in making those in power accountable? For instance, local government chairman we're talking about earlier.
He said what will make
the role of the people in holding.
It's going to be a collective responsibility. You monitor things. Don't be an onlooker. Government is for everybody. Go to a local government and see what is happening. Don't just pretend, don't just sit down one place and be expecting. If you see something, say something. That's what we're taught. That's how we're taught. Evil triumph when good men do nothing. The hottest part of hell is reserved for those who maintain their neutrality in the face of crisis. Government cannot do it alone. Individuals, they make the system to work. Patriotism, love for your country will make you to work. For me, it was out of love for my country that if I don't, because they told us, before they gave us that money, they got professors from universities to lecture us on how to succeed. And they told us that if we pay back this money we get to other people. 80%, 85% took that money away. They went back to National Directorate of Employment and bribed them and took their certificates away. I paid back. People like me paid back.
And that's a challenge that has to be fixed if it's really going to work. But you heard George say there is no need for youth confab, that corruption knows no age or gender.
There's nothing wrong in dialogue. A word can change a person. You see, information is power. If you get, I said professors prepared us for that loan.
Please hold that thought. Let's quickly take Kingsley's call from Ikorodu. Good morning, Kingsley.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Please go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, I think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu policies and economic reform. Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, I think, yes, I think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu policies and economic reform is gradually becoming a reality. I will plead with Nigerians to please exercise a little bit patience. There is no utopia government anywhere in the world. Do you understand? See, every country has their own challenges. Every country has their own reform and policies trying to put in place. But the people of Nigeria should exercise a little bit patience. We have to put some things together to achieve something. In every developing country, there must be a policy. The policy will affect some people, and some people will enjoy the policy. But in our own climate here, everything we want it fast. We want even the president to perform magic, to change everything overnight, which is impossible. But to my own little contribution, I think everybody should give the president more time. There will be a light at the end of the tunnel.
Thank you, Mr. Kingsley, for your thoughts. Well, I wish everyone can be as understanding and patient as you are. I've had conversation as regards patience, because the Tinubu presidency has a time frame of 4 years. We are getting close to midterm in the real sense of it. So how long is wait? How long is long? How long is too long? You know, how long more should Nigerians wait to be able to see the impact of all of these policies?
I read one book, and it said, if you can wait and not tired of waiting, the world belongs to you and everything that is in it.
You are going philosophical now.
It's the law of nature. You have to wait for your turn. We said it during the campaigns. We are looking for antecedents. We are looking for track records. You can't give what you don't have. Name what that word don't have bets. You can't give what you don't have. It's a complex system. You know, some of these people that are ministers, you know, these were nominated. You don't know them. It's just that a candidate is given to you, you've seen his credentials, you may be dealing with a rogue. He's not interested in coming there to add any values to the system. That's one of them. He's always talking about millions, billions. I want billions to do this, I want billions to do this. And some of us see it as this man is looking for money for, I won't call his name, this one is looking for money. We used to go and vie for governor.
Under this administration?
Yes, now. He's still talking about money, $10 billion, $10 billion this thing. What was the meaning of that? Go and do the job. There is a serious dynamic inactivity in the system. You understand what I mean? So dynamic inactivity is when you are pretending to be doing something when you are not doing anything.
Mr. Igbokwe, if there are people like that, it then requires, let us assume that what you're saying is true. It requires Mr. President to now, on a consistent basis, review the performance of his ministers.
Of course.
We saw that happen last year. But perhaps it will happen more often.
It will,
because he's the one who will carry the blame.
And Shiwaju will give you work.
If his ministers aren't working.
Yes, and he will follow you. If you like, don't deliver. We have the experience here in Lagos. Lagos is always the benchmark. They're always on the move. You know, in some nobody will look at what is happening in some. You know, some of these governors. If you give somebody money, you follow the person.
Let us take a look at other policies because of our time. There is the tax reform implementation, perhaps the most controversial bills we saw at the National Assembly last year. This administration is hopeful that it will be implemented this year. But do you think that we've been able to narrow the gap of difference where these bills are concerned?
Those who are opposing it, we know the reason. We know the reason. It's a master stroke. It is. It is what it is. Master stroke. You go and look in words. Go and find out how to generate money. Don't wait for government money. Every month you go, you collect money. You are not doing anything. You are not talking about IGR. You are not talking about anything. Now, go and look for money. Go and do things. Those who are opposing it, they know what they are doing. The man don't finish the work. It's there to stay. Nobody's going to remove it. Tax reforms.
You think it will get the majority needs in both houses?
It is for the good of the Commonwealth.
To become law?
Yes. It is for the good of the Commonwealth.
I understand the good part of it, but to make a law, it will require collaboration across board.
He would have done his plans very well. You know, when you bring out a system like that, you don't go to sit down. You go to lobby. Nobody wants anything that will distort a process he's used to for years. So you now go to lobby. You now go to speak to people. Help me. This one is people with common sense will tell you that this is one of the best things that is going to happen in this country. Let everybody contribute to the national pool. So that if you get money, you know what to do. If you are used to getting a roof money, you won't work. That's why sometimes you allow your children to go and learn something. We have to change our system. In primary school in China, they take them to the factories during break to go and learn. By the time they come out of school, the same thing in secondary school, the same thing in the university. By the time they come out of school, they're already entrepreneurs.
All right. We're looking at infrastructure commissioning because the question has been, all right, also all of these monies that we are getting from removal of fuel subsidy, where is it going? And the government is saying, perhaps we should also take a look at some of the infrastructure we're building. So this year they're saying we're expecting projects to be commissioned, one of which is phase 1 of the Lagos-Calabar Highway, 3 bus terminal stations in FCT, renewed Hope Cities, the Jalkuta Kaduna Kano gas pipeline project, Kaduna Refinery, 52 megawatts Maiduguri Emergency Power Plant project. Next phase of the Presidential Power Initiative, there's the Kaduna Power Project and the 375 megawatts Igbema Power Station in Imo State. It's high time we began to see some of these projects under this administration commission. How much impact do you expect this to have? And even on the acceptability of the Tinubu presidency?
Of course, you know, T-Plan didn't plan this thing to become the president of Nigeria one day. He has been planning, helping people to become president. And when the time came, he said, this is my time. He will look up. He has a plan. If you want to be a governor, if you want to be a local government chairman, develop your plan. That's what you want to do. Some people get to that office without knowing anything. No plan, no nothing. This one prepared himself. He did a lot of work. He evaluated the system to know where the loopholes are. Of course, he's a chartered accountant. What do you expect from such? So, some of the things he's doing may be strange to people who are used to easy money. He wouldn't say this is the system. It's either you walk or they show you the gate. Yep, so Nigeria must succeed.
Yes.
He is not going to sit down there as the president and not allow anything to happen.
And the work must show, you know, for Nigerians.
There is competition in the system now. Everybody is working to be seen. That is competition. That is what we're talking about.
But do you think that this administration has had enough opposition to keep it on its toes?
Are you not seeing it every day? Even APC members are, we are there, you know, hunger. It's just for a while. These things are coming down now. I think inflation is dropping small. We will get there.
But if you're listening to the opposition,
no pain, no gain.
If you're listening to Peter Obi, for instance, who mentioned recently that the APC, your party's publicity secretary, was threatening his life. You heard the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar saying that APC has to apologize and that your administration is stifling the voice of opposition. So they don't quite agree with you that your party's administration has been quite liberal to entertain other opinions apart from those who support the president.
There are people, some of those people who understand very well the antecedents, where they are coming from. If you have seen Obasanjo's book, what you wrote about Atiku, he's not supposed to be talking.
But he's running.
Running to where?
Beyond them talking.
Wait, did you see my command? Go and read it. Go and read it. We're not going to trust mediocres into the system. Governing, being the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is not a tea party. It's not for the small boys. It's not for learners. It's not. Some of them cannot understand what Atiku is doing now. But it's resetting the brain of Nigerians.
We're counting on that, Mr. Igbokwe, and as a Nigerian, everyone wants things to work. And we're hoping that we'll return to have this conversation and, you know, share the fruits of the things we've talked about. Joe Igbokwe is APC chieftain and policy analyst. Thank you so much for joining us on the program this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And that's our show.
Being here.
Absolutely.
It's a great difference.
Thank you so much for joining us. That's our show today, everyone. Thank you for being a part of it. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. See you again tomorrow.